Hello class. Today we're going to talk about taking a black and white drawing or black and white image that we've created from a previous project, whether it was a drawing class or a black and white illustration we had to do, and porting it into Photoshop or creating a paint version that we can then pass off as a new project. I'm working with a sketchbook drawing from 19, showing my age, from 2009, and this piece was a one of my dog baby's characters, Sick in Bed it's called, and this popped up as a pretty interesting little drawing, and I wanted to take it further. So what I did is I scanned it on a flatbed scanner, adjusted the intensity of the drawing so it's a little darker than my pencil line. I did that by just hitting auto tone in Photoshop, which you'll find under I believe edit, image, and auto tone is one of the choices there under image. I then printed it out at a percentage of intensity. So I think I printed this out on paper at 15%. So if we were to look at this, pardon me, I have a cough here. If we were to go over to the layer palette right over here on the drawing, which is layer 0, and the opacity, if we were to drop that down to 15%, you'll see how light that becomes. There's 24%. It's very, very light, and on output on paper it's just a very hinted gray. And I would print this out on watercolor paper through my regular Epson printer. And then I'd proceed to, if we scrolling right, I proceed to paint over those very faint lines. And here's a red and yellow version of that same drawing. And I'd print it out again. And here's a watercolor of the same character, but this time with various other chroma colors here. So in no way was I ever putting this original drawing at risk. This original drawing still lives in my sketchbook from 2009, but what I did do is I digitized it and then just output it over and over again. And if I don't like either of these, I just print out another one and start painting again. So there's a lot of confidence that you can gain by outputting onto watercolor paper or a similar high quality paper. Usually you want to deal with 100% cotton or archival quality paper, but you can easily pick these up at Staples, Office Max, online. And like I said, I'm printing right through my Epson Stylus Photo 1400. It's one of the larger size home printers, but it's easily available. I think I got this for under $200, and the inks are stable. I output and then proceed to use watercolor on top of it, and it does not bleed. So not to worry with the Epson. Likewise, I also work digitally, and you have this option too. Here's another sketchbook drawing from a series I'm doing on corporal punishment, and this is also in my sketchbook. I've taken the drawing, I've scanned it in, I've cleaned it up a little bit. I then can mess with the intensity, although this one I did not. It's still very much a graphite drawing. However, what I've done in this one is, if we go over to the right, I don't know if you can see this on your screens because my resolution is pretty small. However, on the layer that I call drawing here on the right, I've set the layer style from normal, which is what it comes in as, is normal. I set it to multiply. multiply. And what that does is any layer that is underneath it, such as a gradient, the pencil line will show through. Anything that was white will disappear. So I can build up colors underneath of the drawing. And before you know it, it's a full illustration, colored, pardon me. It's a full drawing that has been turned into a colored illustration. So, by setting the drawing to multiply within Photoshop, this is an option that goes back to Photoshop 7, I believe, if not earlier. The ability to set the layer to multiply and then apply color beneath it. If I wanted to deepen the drawing, make it a little more intense, I still can go into image and adjust the tone or adjust some of the contrast and get the lines darker. However, I'm not doing that now on this one, so Control Z and I'm back to a light color again on my pencil line, and it still looks like pencil to me. When it gets really dark, it begins to look like ink, and that's not really what I want. I don't want any super blacks on this particular drawing. So that is both digital manipulation of an original sketch, but with two different results. One is a real-life painting, which I can either paint watercolor, gouache, which is opaque watercolor. I can go over it with pencil. I can go over it, if I put a light gesso, like a clear gesso over it, I can go over it with oil paint. I can go over it with acrylic. Does not matter. If we remember our little doggy, as long as I have that the original scan, I can output it over and over and just try different things. So I can get various results without ever risking my original drawing. And likewise, in the digital realm, we all know that once you scan it in, the original drawing's safe. As long as your sketchbook is safe or your drawing pad is put away somewhere safe, the original's not going to get messed up. You don't want to work over the original because the original is usually the only record you have of that piece. And if you mess up painting, you've messed up the original. So we want to output on something else, or we want to work in a digital realm and color there. Okay. Those of you that are not working with black and white, I would like you to create a variation of an existing colored piece. So that means, as you saw with the dog sick in bed, I have two different color versions. This one's red and yellow. This one's full chroma. I'd like a variation of an existing piece. This has a different vibe, an entirely different vibe than this one. So you can easily make a variation. However, you may have to find your source material. As you know, with Photoshop or Painter or Illustrator, you've got various layers, and you will need to be able to manipulate those layers in order to make this new version. However, if you've already only worked in color, I would like you to try another color variation version. You can use this as a springboard piece. This dog does not have to look exactly the same. Your piece does not have to look exactly the same as the original. However, thematically, I want it to harken back to this original piece. I want to be able to tell that this piece that you're delivering for this particular project is derivative of your original piece. All right, that's the lesson.